It's a real privilege to be here today, particularly on the occasion of World Water Day. It's actually my first visit to IIT Madras, and I think no better occasion to be here today with all of you. Very impressed with this research park as well. I just heard from the director and Professor Pradeep, and it's great to know the wonderful work being done on water by this institute. I mean, we all know the pioneering work done by IIT Madras. I have many friends from this institution, and I'm just learning about the comprehensive and integrated focus on water management. Water technology, of course, and I think that once we marry technology with management, particularly across rural and urban, I think it will make a very big difference. So today, I think that the emphasis on grey water is particularly welcome on the occasion again of World Water Day. I'm very pleased to note also that we have colleagues from across many states who deal both with water from the Public Health Engineering Department space, but also from the rural sanitation space, the Swachh Bharat space. So for us, grey water is actually at the intersection of drinking water and reuse of wastewater. And that's our ODF plus agenda. As was mentioned, the Swachh Bharat mission has made good progress. Sanitation coverage is pretty close to 100 today. And of course, the question always comes up on how do you do sanitation without water? And the use of technology has helped that to a large extent, because we use a toilet which has a steep slope. So because of simple gravity, the amount of water required to flush these simple household toilets is about 1.5 liters. But still you need that water. And when you have other kinds of toilets, then you perhaps need more water. But coming back again to the issue of grey water, today, India, I mean, it's not just the city of Chennai and the state of Tamil Nadu, but, there is a water scarcity issue in India. We have a lot of water. It comes typically during the monsoon, and then, we don't retain this water. So we are, approaching the lean season as well, which is a good time to talk about this subject. So there is a water scarcity problem in both rural and urban India. My ministry focuses more on rural, but again, it's a gray area. Coming back to the topic of today's discussion, urban and rural, in terms of the spatial dimension, we are focusing on the majority part of India. Now, the more pipe water you supply, the more of it becomes wastewater. Maybe 70-75% of water, of wastewater is coming out of pipe water supply. What do you do with this grey water? And if you look at numbers, I'm not going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but there's a huge demand for water, particularly for drinking water. Now, about 80-85% of all water in India is used by the agriculture sector. So that's another big area which we're not talking about today. And one of the challenges in this sector is that institutionally, whether it's the government of India or state governments, you have many ministries and departments all looking at one small part of water. If you look at the government of India, you've got the Ministry of Water Resources, which looks at big water, capital W, dams, river basin management. They look at groundwater as well. Then you've got the Ministry of Agriculture, so irrigation for farmers, which consumes most of it. The Ministry of Environment, they've got a directorate of rivers, and they set standards. My own ministry, which looks at rural drinking water. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs looks at urban water and sanitation. Then you've got the Ministry of Rural Development, which does a lot of water conservation. There may be a couple more ministries as well. So the real challenge is how do we integrate all this? And state governments have similar multiple departments. So there's a lot of effort going on now, being led by the Niti Aayog, which puts together a water management index, which cuts across all the multiple dimensions of water. Again, a lot of coordination is now being attempted through the Niti Aayog, but there clearly needs to be more integration across different ministries dealing with different aspects of water. Now, in terms of grey water, the subject of today's topic, I think this is a really important and much neglected sector. So far, when we talk of wastewater management, typically it's an urban issue. So we're looking at sewage, we're looking at sewer networks, and we're looking at urban parts of India. And many of you would know that in terms of sewer networks, less than 30% of our urban areas, towns and cities are connected through sewers. The remaining are all basically septic tanks. And septic tanks need to be emptied, and the sludge needs to be treated. Again, that's a major challenge. So wastewater reuse has traditionally not been an area of focus in India. If you look at Israel, most of their agriculture, water for agriculture is coming from treated municipal wastewater. So it's a big resource, and we have traditionally not tapped into it. So that's the black water, which when we talk of wastewater treatment, STPs, typically it's about black water from urban areas. Grey water is an area which has traditionally not really been discussed. So we decided, and I'm very glad that IIT Madras is hosting this workshop. So when Radha and I were discussing this, we said, let us talk about grey water. So what is grey water? Grey water conventionally is the water which is coming out of kitchens, bathing, and storm water, rainwater. That's most of your grey water. You can get into yellow water as well, but we are leaving that aside for the moment. So what do you do with this grey water? Traditionally, it runs out and it's not utilized. So we thought that this would be an ideal opportunity to focus on the management and the utilization, the treatment, the standards, the institutionalization of grey water, which we think is a huge potential resource to help tackle India's water scarcity and water conservation problem. So that was the background to this workshop. Again, it's the day after Holi, which is celebrated mainly in North India. So Radha said, let's do it on 25th and 26th of March. We'll have a much bigger audience. We'll get a lot of participation from the northern states. But we decided to hold it on the 22nd today, symbolically because today is World Water Day. So again, I'm seeing great attendance here as well. So I don't think we're really missing out on participation from many of the states. So that's the theme of the workshop. Now, what is the scope of grey water? We think there is huge scope. It's already a lot of reuse of grey water is taking place. But one of the challenges is setting standards and how do you regulate the use of grey water, particularly in rural India, which is very decentralized and very scattered. We have a lot of ongoing grey water management models, and I'm sure you'll be hearing or listening to many of them today, ranging from soak pits to kitchen water to community ponds. We have Mr. Mankar here from Gujarat, and he's going to be presenting the Vasmo model, where communities collect the grey water, put it into ponds, do some minor treatment, and then use it for agriculture. The question is, how safe is it? What are the standards? What do we need to do? And are there other good examples of typically community management? Because we feel that using the words sort of used internationally is water is best managed at the lowest appropriate level. So if it can be managed down at the panchayat level, it's probably going to be more effective. And we're going to look at a few models like that. Now, some of the challenges, of course, are the standards. And again, today we really don't have standards for grey water reuse, and neither do we have standards, nor do we have effective regulation and implementation. So we're really hoping to hear today, both from a technical point of view, but also from a regulatory point of view, what are some ideas for us as policymakers and as practitioners, which we can take away from this going forward so that we can roll it out across India. We are very much, one of the advantages of working, of course, with the government is we are about scale. And we are very, very determined now to move from ODF, which is open defecation free, to ODF plus. And ODF plus is primarily about solid and liquid waste management. So today we are talking about the L part, the liquid waste management of grey water. This is going to be a major agenda for us over the next 3 to 5 years. And we see grey water management and reuse as we increasingly move towards tap water in India. It's going to be a very, very important concern. And again, no better place than IIT Madras to have this preliminary discussion. What we are hoping to take out of this workshop are not only ideas on management, on technology, but we need to program this. And so we have a large number of people from my office here today, led by Radha, who we are here to get the ideas. How can we put them into a framework, and how can we program this? Because going forward, at least in the coming year, we want to very firmly set the roadmap and start the implementation of grey water management. It's, in fact, in my own ministry, it's useful because it brings my water and my sanitation team together, because both of them are working on the same topic. Now, again, we are hoping for cost-effective technologies, because like everything else, money, the resources will always be an issue. So we are hoping that some of the ideas coming forward here are not going to be, they can be high-tech, but hopefully they are relatively low cost, because that's, if we really want to roll something out in India, it needs to be cost-effective. In sanitation, for example, the preferred model is the twin-pit leach pit toilet, which is a phenomenal technology invented in India 50 years ago, which is a treatment plant in itself. So when we talk of twin-pit toilets, you don't have to worry about something called fecal sludge management. You don't need to empty the contents and take it out and dump it in some water body, which is not regulated, because it treats it by itself when you switch from one pit to another. Similarly, in grey water, we are looking for relatively low-cost solutions. Hopefully, we'll get to hear a few of them today. I'm really looking forward to this all-day workshop, because for us, this would be, again, I'm repeating this, a starting point of the journey on grey water management. We tried to get as many good examples as we could, ranging from technology models to management solutions, and we have many practitioners here today. So we would like to have solutions which can be quickly scaled up. And when we get an idea which we like, we try to roll it out as quickly as possible with the state governments. Because as you all know, water and sanitation are state subjects. They're not on the union list. So our job from the Government of India is to partner with institutions like IIT Madras, which we're very proud and honored to do, and then work with state governments, engage with them, and see how we can push all this down to the local level to have it implemented and then sustained. I think the last part is very important for us. Under the Swachh Bharat mission, a lot of good work has been done. And the challenge now is, how do you get that change in behavior of using toilets to be sustained? And one of the ways which will help that is to bring in more cost-effective water management solutions, including the use of grey water. So thank you once again for inviting us. I wanted to thank Radha and our entire team for this close collaboration and preparing this workshop with IIT Madras. And hopefully today's workshop will lead to a long-term partnership with the Institute. And we should remember this March 22nd, 2019 World Water Day as the starting point on, I think, what will be a very, very exciting grey water management journey, which will fit into the overall water journey and the sanitation journey of India. Thank you very much.